Hello, I will be analyzing the article The Effect of Team Exploratory Testing. So team exploratory testing allows non-testers to contribute to testing in a controlled way with support and no added work. But there is limited prior work on team-based testing, including team exploratory testing. So this article intends to provide a case study of conducting team exploratory testing sessions with participants from multiple backgrounds during 2 software projects in a telecommunications company, and thereby answering the 2 research questions. How does using team exploratory testing affect the testing results, and how are these sessions experienced by the participants? So these projects were based in 3-week iterations, during which continuous testing was applied through a variety of methodologies, all grouped under the non-team exploratory testing category, and then team exploratory testing sessions were conducted on the final day of each iteration. These sessions were organized including a facilitator who provided the testing focus for the session, and a domain expert which provided context regarding the application, how it's meant to be used, what are its features, etc. And then participants were invited from the whole project personnel. Data was conducted and analyzed regarding the defects to answer the first question, and the questionnaires were used to answer the second research question. So it was found that over 20% of all defects were found during the team exploratory testing sessions, which is a significant contribution when we consider that these sessions occurred at the end of the iteration, so a lot of testing had already occurred, and still over 1/5 of all defects were found during these sessions. These sessions were also highly efficient, about 4 times more efficient than the other testing methodologies. When we look at the most severe defects, they tended to be found more often in other testing methodologies, but this is also likely to be related to the placement of the team exploratory testing sessions at the end of the iteration, so by then the most severe defects had already been detected. If we look at the type of defects, and if we split them into usage defects and technical defects, we see that team exploratory testing sessions tend to find more often usage-related defects, while for the remaining methodologies this difference is not apparent. So team exploratory testing seems to provide good effectiveness and high efficiency, and to find a majority of usage-related defects. So regarding the participants' opinion of these sessions, some benefits were found. So being able to discuss the found defects immediately allowed the participants to get to the root causes faster, and they also felt that greater insight was gained on how the application was to be used during these sessions. Some disadvantages: inexperienced participants might sometimes provide a too vague description of defects, and these sessions might be perceived as disruptive and inadequately structured to more experienced participants. Participants gained individually from learning the application better, from learning how to better define a feature, and from gaining insights into new ways of testing by seeing others use the application. So in general, these were considered successful. There are some limitations in a case study, so testing hours were only estimated instead of objectively tracked, so efficiency measurement might not be entirely accurate. Regarding internal validity, there are many confounding factors due to the placement of the team exploratory testing sessions at the end of the sprints. So they were influenced by all the previously conducted testing, and some other factors might have independently tampered with the testing efficiency. Regarding external validity, this is a case study, so its generalization is always limited, but the authors provide some context variables that may be considered when applying these results to other projects. And regarding reliability, only one single investigator was responsible for defect categorization, so some subjectivity may exist there. Future work might be necessary to test team exploratory testing in other types of projects or organizations, and these studies should better isolate and compare team exploratory based testing in isolation versus non-team exploratory testing based tests, instead of mixing them in the same iteration. Personally, I think this case study provides a good example of how non-testers and domain experts can be involved in quality assurance and testing, and this seems to be particularly important in domain-critical applications. I am interested in health informatics and e-health, and I think this methodology might function very well in such an environment where very specific work processes may be difficult to grasp by testers and the remaining technical personnel. So I think this provides a good way to involve domain experts into the testing effort.